So today we are in problem solving mode. So the car is running pretty good. I think that I have the methanol problem ironed out, and we're in the midst of true, genuine, 100% Texas weather, which means yesterday or day before yesterday it was 60 degrees. The next day it was snowing, and that is no exaggeration, that is 100% fact. So why am I telling you that? Well, that is the perfect weather to work on the race car. And I had a little problem looming over me every pass that the car has made. Doesn't really affect the way that it runs, but it is going to affect future progress. So what I wanted to do is get this little problem taken care of before we go to the track the next time. It's valuable data that we will use in the future, no doubt. And what that problem is this little doodad right here. Okay, so what you're looking at, and if you've been following along, you've seen this little piece in some of the previous videos. The problem with this is, I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. I'm gonna bring it in a little closer. There's pretty good focus right there. Some of these teeth are not equidistant, or maybe it is that they are equidistant and they are not equally sized to each other. Now, what that does, that is vehicle speed sensor 1, which is on the drive line or the back of the drive shaft or the rear end or the pinion gear, or however you want to look at it. The problem with that is that when I get around to using traction control, this particular ring is compared to the ring on the front, or the rear wheel speed is compared to the front wheel speed. And if it exceeds a certain threshold, in other words, it's spinning the tires, if it exceeds a certain threshold that I have set forth in the traction control parameters, it will consider that as tire spin and pull timing and or fuel accordingly. So how do I know that it's not working correctly? Well, it's funny you should ask. I was about to tell you that. So through the data logs, in every data log, the VSS1, or the rear wheel speed, shows to go up to 20 miles an hour, and then it drops instantly. And as soon as it gets below 20 miles an hour, it goes up again to 20 miles an hour, and then it starts to drop again. And so what I've done to troubleshoot this and make sure that I'm on the right path is I've changed the sensor. I've obviously checked the power in the ground. It's powered off of a 5-volt sensor, or 5-volt VREF off of the ECU. The front wheel sensor shares the same 5 volts and the same ground, and it works fine. So it's not the voltage and it's not the ground. I've even taken the wires from the back of the car, snaked them through the car, and plugged them into the front wheel, and it still works. So in other words, it's showing the front wheel on the rear wheel channel, but it works. So that only leaves the one thing, the spacing on the yoke. So the way we're going to fix it, we're going to put it in the lathe and we're going to cut the teeth off of it. And then we're going to cut new teeth on it because the sensor has quite a bit of thread for it to go inbound right there, and plenty of clearance and all that jazz. So we're going to cut these teeth off, and instead of cutting the teeth in this direction, we're going to cut the teeth in this direction. So it's going to have square notches in it, if you will. So enough talking, let's get started. Okay, so this is undoubtedly kind of haphazard to do this in this manner, but with this thing assembled this way, it's really all we can do. So we'll open up the jaws, get it clamped down nice, and that yoke is pretty damn hard, so we don't have to worry about scarring it or anything like that. And we'll turn it on for a quick test spin. And just as we would expect, it spins very true as far as the outside of the teeth are concerned. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but I can definitely see some variance in the depth of the teeth and the width of the teeth when it's turning. No doubt in my mind. So let us get started on the actual cutting of this thing. Okay, we're ready to go. I got the tool set up, and I'm just going to use a simple 45 tool to cut these teeth off so I can chamfer this side and this side after I get it knocked down to where I want it to be. This is undoubtedly going to throw some nice little hot flakes of metal. So you'll probably kind of see me standing out of the way. There's the hot metal. Okay, I know you can't see that in the camera, but when you're doing an interrupted cut like that, these little dudes right here are flying everywhere. And I'm here to tell you that is like flaming hot little needles getting stuck on you everywhere, and they hit you in the lip. They stick to your lip, man. Alright, so anyways, we got this thing turned down. I have no idea what the diameter is, so this is probably a good time to measure it. So let me find something to measure with, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the milling machine set up with the rotary table on there. Got my measurements written out on the table, so hopefully I don't screw it up. Alright, so unfortunately I did put the whammy on myself, and I did screw up that yoke. And then to top it all off, we started the process of making a puck to hold the new VSS ring on the rotary table so we could machine it accurately. And then I screwed up the footage of making that. So we're kind of skipping a handful of steps, and we're moving straight into cutting the teeth on the new reluctor wheel. And well, let's get a look at it right now. Alright, so for some portion of that video, apparently I forgot to turn on the microphone, so I don't know how much we're going to have to edit out of there because it means a bunch of blah 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 and no noise, but nonetheless, here's the new reluctor ring, or the back of it. So this side is going to fit on this, which is going to go on the rotary table, which has an index to the back of it, so it spins true. And so I don't screw it up again. So, and it's a really close fit. Gotta be like really nice to it. I'm afraid I'll get it stuck if I keep trying. And yeah, something like that. You get the idea. On to the next step. Okay, so if you caught the other video where I made this the first time, this is done exactly the same way. So we got the face done, the bore done. This face and the bore is done at the same time. And the reason why that lip is still on there, because that's where we're going to cut the radius down into it and relieve some of the weight, because we don't need all that on there. Yeah. Hopefully we don't screw this one up on the mill again. All right, we are nearly back to where we left off. We got some, got the radius cut in it, you know, just kind of lighten it up a little bit, make it look cool, I guess. So now I think we are pretty much ready to cut the teeth in it. Okay, starting to come together and look like something now. So this piece, as I said before, it centers it up in the rotary table. There's gonna be a bolt that goes through here and some kind of washer arrangement thing that's gonna hold this on the aluminum piece to make sure that it doesn't come loose or anything. It's actually pretty tight on there. I had to tap it on with a mallet, so it may not even be a problem. But we're probably going to put the bolt and whatever on there anyways, just in case. So now it's time to set it up in the mill, see how it does. Okay, so I got the rotary table set up in the mill, and this is what I was talking about earlier. That little bitty register sits in that spot on the front of the rotary plate, and it's a good fit, so it stays. So I just have to rig up a bolt that passes through this thing, and not that way, that passes through this thing to sandwich it all together. And the back of the rotary table has a little hole that this bushing fits in real nice, and so it's going to go through there, something along those lines, and a clamp or something on there. So let me get that set up and we'll get started. Okay, so now we're set up and ready to go. I got my fancy clamping mechanism in place. I'll bring the camera in a little closer so you can see what's going on. It's pretty cool, kind of fun stuff. Check it out. Alright, so I got the last teeth cut on the new reluctor, and we're going to pull it out and check it out and see how bad or how good it looks. Well, first impression, it don't look too bad. Let's go over here in the vise and see if we can tap it apart. Alright, this one turned out a lot better. The teeth are small, but that's fine. It doesn't need big teeth, you know, big Bubba teeth or anything like that. But get a look at that. The teeth are pretty stinking accurately spaced this time around. So, looks like all we got to do is knock the burrs off of it and get this thing put back on the yoke and back in the car and tested. Alright, so I got the vehicle speed sensor is put back on the car, and we're getting ready to test it out. And the gauge that we're looking at is this one on the top right here. Let's see, I think you can see, oh, that one right there. You won't be able to see the numbers, but if that needle goes over about that 20 mark right there, then we are definitely working like it should be. So it's probably going to get pretty loud here momentarily, but neighbors are going to love it. Oh yeah, they're going to love that. So that's a little disappointing. So apparently we have some other problem going on where the VSS drops signal for no good reason. Back to the drawing boards. Okay guys, so I didn't show the actual functioning VSS sensor, but it is working now. And I will say this, that expect the unexpected. This time around, I posted in the Mega Squirt MS3 Pro users group on Facebook, and within a few minutes somebody had replied and kind of gave me a brief synopsis of what the problem was with his car, and he had the same thing. Nathan Caller, Kahler, he's got a YouTube channel, super smart dude. Anyways, in my case, I have 24 teeth on the reluctor, and on the front wheel that's fine because there's no gear multiplication there and it's only spinning, you know, 1 revolution. When it's on the drive shaft, in my case, it's spinning 3.73 times faster. So the resolution for a non-digital input is just too much. All I did to fix it was to switch the wire to a digital input and problem solved. So I made the reluctor, I did all that stuff, screwed up the parts, made this video and all that for nothing. Expect the unexpected. Having said all that, I got a working VSS sensor, and that is the end of the video. Man, I can't believe it. Anyways, thanks everybody for stopping by. I certainly do appreciate it. As usual, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the notification icon. Check in the description below. There's links to the Amazon store or Amazon favorites list of all the stuff they've used on the channels. There is the Instagram link, email link, and all that good stuff. So check it out. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next video.